Okay, then you can run the rundown.
All right, so I'm here with Chris Black, and Chris is going to show us Viz Traffic Producer and Viz World. So Chris, please tell me a little bit about what you're demoing here.
Well, I'm showing Viz Traffic, which is one of the first integrations between the Curious Group and VizRT's different suite of software. So this is actually taking elements of Curious Traffic Flow, which is a very popular product within the United States and sold very well, and bringing it into more of a Viz real-time application. Pushing this out for everybody out there who uses HD traffic.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about your setup and then do a quick demo for us.
Sure. Well, what I'm running here is Viz Traffic, which gives you a playlist of the different graphics you've created, as well as showing you the different templates, and you essentially build all your graphics, send it over to the engine, and then play them back through your playlist. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to build a base map. And we're looking at a couple of templates here. The first one is a map of a city. We're looking at Las Vegas for this particular demo. And then we'll build another one that's showing us travel times between two different locations. So first, looking at the base map, we first open it up, and you see that we have this 3D map zooming down to a location. Now, adding a location on a 3D map is a little difficult because you're trying to drop an icon onto something that's in three-dimensional space, and it's a bit difficult to just drag and drop it on there because you don't exactly know where it's going to go. So what we've done is given you a 2D editor, which makes this whole system a lot easier just to drag and drop items on there. So this is our 2D editor. We're able to type in intersections or drag and drop simple items on there, such as car accident, construction, and so on. But we're also able to access a live data feed. And this live data feed is an XML file that's coming into the system from various different data providers and can show us in real time what's happening in the city at the moment. So here I've brought in a live data feed from the city of Las Vegas, and it's showing me exactly what the speeds are on the different roads. Now, what we're looking at right now, it's in the middle of the night in Las Vegas, so the traffic's doing just fine. But normally, if you're in a high volume part of the day, such as the morning and the afternoon commutes, you can pull this down and narrow it down to problem traffic areas by seeing where speeds have gotten slower, such as 5 kilometers an hour, 15 kilometers an hour, and so on. But right now, since there's not much going on, I can actually go back and zoom into a location and I'll build a map from scratch. So I'm going to zoom down to a location. We'll zoom down to here. I can put my cursor over the streets. It tells me the names of the streets as I move my cursor over. And I can highlight a street, add the street in, and I can bring in a live data feed. Now, because I'm bringing in this live data from Las Vegas, it's coming in as green because traffic is very good there right now since it's the middle of the night. But if there are traffic problems, I can manually go back in and change it. So I can change this to red, yellow, or green based upon what the flow is actually doing. So I'll make this yellow for now, and then I'll go back and grab the opposite lane of traffic and add just a section of that. So I'll click, and then bring in the live data so it's changing in green for me. Now there's other things happening here as well. If there's a car accident, I can drag and drop a car accident icon on there. If there's construction, I'll put a little construction icon on there, and then I can label the roads. So I'll label Stewart Avenue here. Once I have everything done in this 2D interface, I can send it over to the 3D interface by hitting Export to Viz, and it turns all this information that we've just created into a nice little 3D model here that we can see at the end of our animation. Now, once this is done, we save it as a data element. So I'll save this. Add it to my playlist, and then I'm ready to initialize it. So I'll initialize the graphics. It's pushing all the information over to the engine, and in a minute we'll be able to play it back. Now, before I was showing you live data, but you don't have to have live data for the system. There's often data providers for different cities, but it can be kind of hard to come by. In the United States, we have lots and lots of live data, so it's fantastic. We can just instantly see what's happening on the screen and plop it onto the map. But for some smaller locations, and actually most places outside the US, there's no data available. So we give you, within that 2D editor, the option of actually adding in your own data. So you can type in intersections, you can type in addresses, and add this to the system manually. So you don't really need to rely on this data. And that's one of the really powerful things about this system. Most traffic systems, if they don't have the live data, you can't do anything. This one gives you the full flexibility of the package without having any kind of data. Now the system's done initializing. I'm going to go ahead and play back the graphic that we just created. So I'll play, and we see on the big screen that it's playing back. It's zooming into the new location, and there we go. We have this lovely little map of showing the flow, Stewart Avenue, a little car accident, and our little flagman there waving at us. Hello, look at that. So we have a nice little 3D graphic, and then because I've built a playlist, we can bring in other graphics. This is a true Viz system, so we can play back all these different graphics they create in Viz, making them look any way you want. So here we have a nice little travel times graphic talking about the time it takes to get between two different streets.
What about street data? Will I get street data from my city in Europe, from any city in Europe?
Well, we have street data for almost every country in Europe at this moment. It's all brought to you by Navtech, which is the largest provider of street data in the world right now. And everything that you see on any other programs, mapping programs like MapQuest, anything like that, that's all using Navtech data. So this data is very, very high resolution, very accurate. It's usually down to about 1 meter in resolution. So it's very, very accurate to what you're seeing on the screen and what you actually see out on the street when you're walking around. This data can have addresses, you can give you the option of typing an intersection, so we have this for everywhere.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Chris.
Another way of showing Viz Traffic is on the touchscreen. The touchscreen allows the traffic reporter to have an interactive approach to their traffic display. So here we have a nice big touchscreen system showing the city of Las Vegas again. I'm able to grab the city and move to whatever location I want, as well as bring in my data. So for the data this time, instead of using a live data feed, I'm actually going to hand draw in all the information and actually talk about it. So here we see traffic slowing down on I-15 coming into the city, and then bring in other elements such as the car accident that we had. So I'll bring in my car accident icons. We have a 2-car accident on I-15 South. Traffic is being slowed as it's coming in. There's also hazardous road conditions on I-5. And at the same time, bring in other elements such as telestrations, so I can telestrate on top of the map showing exactly what I'm talking about, or circling alternate routes. So maybe you need to take the I-5 south and then get onto Paradise Avenue to get around the accident. And bring in elements such as IP cameras. Within this system we have a nice little IP camera that I'm able to bring in. This is actually taking a live camera feed from the city of Las Vegas and streaming it on top of my map that I can then flip between on the different graphics, or utilizing the 2 video inputs that every engine has and have this on the graphic as well. Since I have everything drawn on here, I can then take it into a 3D space and then manipulate the map, moving it around to a new location as needed, or zooming in to a location. And essentially, this just gives the operator this extra touch so they can talk to the audience at home and immediately show them what's happening in its interactive sense.